All right, straight to India now for the brutal gang rape case of a student in New Delhi more than 7 years ago. 4 men were issued with death warrants. The hanging of the 4 convicts has now been deferred to a later date after one of them filed a mercy petition with the President of India. Let's get the very latest now and bring in our correspondent in India, Ishan Garg. Ishan, a very good morning to you. Why the delay in hanging these 4 men? And it seems like that final date for their hanging has now been moved 3 times.
Yes, that is correct. Well, the delay is because of a legal tangle that all these 4 convicts have been able to extort rather well, unfortunately. The idea is that under the Indian judicial system, under the Indian Penal Code, if 4 people have been convicted of a same crime, they cannot be punished on separate dates. So what has happened here is that these 4 people, they have been filing review petitions with the top court in India. They have been filing mercy petitions with the President of India, and they've been doing so in a staggered way, so that all 4 of them, when they have exhausted all their legal remedies, only then they can be punished at the same time. So now what has happened is that all these 4 people have been trying these legal tactics one by one, and now for the very final time, one of these convicts has filed a mercy petition. Now after that petition gets rejected by the President, if it is rejected, then there will be a 14-day period after which these people could be hanged.
So this is the final stage. The President of India has the power to pardon. So after this, there's no more appeal, isn't it?
Yes, after this, they have exhausted pretty much all of their legal options. This is really the end of the road for them. And if the past experience is anything to go by, the President is very much likely to reject the mercy plea. He has said that time and again that the convicts should not treat this legal remedy as an option to defer the legal process.
So 4 sentenced to death. There were, I understand, more men arrested for this crime. One of the accused died by suicide in prison back in 2013. Correct, Ishan?
Yes, that is correct. He was found hanging from his cell where all these 5 convicts at the time were kept captive, and he was found hanging with a rope, and the jail said that he had committed suicide. However, there was a bit of controversy around that time when the incident happened, some people suggesting that the police might have some involvement in his hanging. Yeah. But later it turned out that it was a suicide after all, and that person committed suicide in his jail cell.
The woman was gang raped on a bus in 2012, more than 7 years ago. She died 2 weeks later as a result of her injuries. Ishan, what do we know about these 4 men who committed this terrible crime?
There isn't a lot to know about these 4 men. They were all laborers working in New Delhi, doing all sorts of various jobs. These are not residents of Delhi. They had come in from different parts of India, and what we know so far about them is that they were working menial jobs, and they had kind of befriended the bus driver, the bus which was carrying the victim, unfortunately, and they asked the bus driver to stop the bus, get the lady on the board, and she was traveling with one of her friends. Yeah. And they mutilated the body. They dealt such severe blows that the victim was found dead in the next few days. These 4 people, they're not from Delhi. There isn't a lot to know about them, but what we do know about them is that they had kind of worked with the bus driver to get the victim on the board.
Yeah, it must be so tough for the victim's family and friends. Talk to us about the victim's family and their reaction to this latest delay.
The victim's family is quite understandably heartbroken, and they say that their faith in the judicial system is being tested by all of these deferments that have been happening for the past few months. I mean, the incident occurred in 2012. and there was a long delay till all these 4 people were convicted. The case went on for a very long time. The Indian government had to bring in a special law to punish people who have committed heinous crimes like this one. Yeah. And after that law was put into place, the Supreme Court actually decided that these 4 people have to be hanged, and even after that they have just taken the legal process for a spin, really. And this has really upset the victim's family, and not just them. There are loads of rape survivors in India and their families. They are very upset with the legal system, and they are finding this quite painful for their experience.
Yeah, I'm sure years on, this brutal rape still haunts India's collective memory.
That is correct, and unfortunately this has been the fate of India for the past few years, that these types of crimes just don't stop happening. There was one such crime that happened in Hyderabad, in the southern Indian state, just last year, and there was a massive public outrage, after which the convicts were killed in an encounter by the police. And there was a bit of a controversy around then as well. Some people said that the police killed those convicts because they were sure that they would also take the legal system, the judicial system, for a ride. But clearly there is a lot of outrage around these sort of laws, and this is even after the Indian government has brought in very severe measures to punish people who are convicted of crimes, particularly crimes against women.
Yeah, talk to us about that, Ishan. I mean, we saw hundreds taking to the streets when this happened, protesting issues around the law, safety issues, etc. Has anything changed since then?
Something has changed within the legal process. Now, just the fact that there are so many courts in India, because it's a massive country, the case goes through several courts in the hierarchy. So it would start from, say, somewhere in a district court, which is the lowest level, then it would go to the high court, which is the top court at the state level, and then it goes to the Supreme Court, which is the highest court in the country. And just all of these processes, they take a massive amount of time, and this has been a massive criticism of the Indian judicial system as well, because the people who have suffered through this, they say justice delayed is justice denied. You keep the convicts of such a crime in the jail cell for 3 years, even after they have been convicted, and the court has said that they need to be hanged soon. This just doesn't sit well with the Indian public. But the incidences that have happened in the past few years, they have raised a question about this patriarchal mentality of the Indian society, where certain men just feel it's okay for them to indulge in these sort of crimes, and they feel like they could take the advantage of the legal system and perhaps even in some cases get out unscathed.
Ishan, we're going to keep a close eye on the story. Appreciate you reporting. SABC News correspondent in India, Ishan Garg. Thank you.